Hey everyone, this is Justin Taylor with ROC Title, and you're listening to Anyone Can Be a Rock Star, a ROC University podcast. Listen weekly as we sit down with industry top producers and leaders to discuss the ideas, the opportunities, and the strategies that ultimately led them to success in their business so you can do the same. And today we're sitting with Kevin Stark, a top producing agent here in the Phoenix market. Super excited to talk with him. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So let's dive right in. How did you get to the business you have today? So you produced over 20 million over the last couple of years and kept an average of 30 sales annually for multiple years. How'd you get to this point?
Done a little research. Good work. Good question. So I kind of started out the business in 2010. I got fully licensed. I got schooling in 2009, fully licensed 2010. 2010, right? We're doing a ton of short sales. We're doing bank-owned properties. We're taking off with a massive distressed market.
Yeah, whole different.
A whole different market. That was kind of a hidden blessing for me at the time because I stepped into it in the whole world of real estate through Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah. So then I started studying some of his programs, learning about lease options and wholesaling and assignments and everything else, which then led me to negotiating short sales, which then I was living in Wyoming. Then I moved to Montana for a short bit. Then I came out here to Arizona because what cities were making all the news back then, right? Vegas and Phoenix and Miami and all these cities that are massively housing market is just falling. So there's an opportunity through these short sale negotiations to help people save them from foreclosure. So I jumped into that. And that was a blessing because as I was trying to do it from an investor standpoint of leveraging hard money to help, buy the property, assign it to a buyer who's working with the realtor to buy the property. And I came out here, was calling on some foreclosures, and one of the brokers called me back and he's like, "Hey, why are you calling on my clients?" I was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know the house was listed. There's no sign on it, no nothing." He goes, "Yeah, we're not trying to draw attention to the fact that my clients are going through foreclosure." I'm like, "I think the city's already done that by posting a notice on the garage and the front door, So that's why I had reached out and called him. But ultimately what had happened is that he goes, "Be careful what you're doing because Arizona has different kind of laws." I said, "Well, I'm new to the Valley. I would love to pick your brain on what that's about." So he agreed, went and met with his broker for lunch. He goes, "Why are you trying to do short sales from an aspect of investment standpoint? Go get your licensed banks are more than willing to pay commissions." So that's where the blessing came in. It is because I thought about that and it was such a battle to get the profits of an investment split at that time because prices are falling so fast that by the time you negotiate a short sale in 2, 3, 4 months that matches the buyer's offer, and there's no split in the middle for any type of income. So I decided to move my entire life to the Phoenix Valley and took off with real estate, licensed in January 2010, joined his brokerage, just started calling people and meet with people for foreclosures to do short sales for them. And that helped me take off because I didn't know any better, right? Like I didn't know experience an equity sale and the ease or blessing or shortness of like a 15, 30, 45 day sale. I had only experienced these 3-month-long sales. Oh, wow. So then which was a benefit because as other agents that were already successful in the business had heard about me liking short sales, doing short sales and being successful at them, they started referring me their short sales for a 30% referral fee. I was like, all day long, yeah, I'll gladly pay you to take this off. So that's all I knew. So the benefit of not knowing what like the full real estate business and only knowing short sales, I just worked harder. Like I was happy with it. I was excited to be doing it. It was an incredible opportunity for me. And so, I didn't do my first equity sale till probably mid to late 2011. Oh, wow. So I was in the business for almost 2 years before I did one equity sale. All of them were other short sale listings. And then I worked with a lot of foreclosure buyers because I joined a team for a little bit that had all the bank-owned listings or a lot of the bank-owned listings. Then I would just, take the sign calls and go show the foreclosures work with buyers. But yeah, for a listing, I was a nervous wreck 2 years into the business doing my first listing presentation on why would they use me? What's my value? They don't need me now. They don't need my knowledge. They have options. Options opens up the whole another level of professionalism.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Long story short, that's what got me in here.
Nice, I love it. So where did you move from when you got before Phoenix?
Montana. So I was in Montana for a year and I tried it there, kind of the negotiating short sales, and a smaller town, my experience wasn't the most open to what was happening in the Phoenix Valley, where title companies and lenders are working more on the short sales and the short sale process and helping people. And kind of classes and title companies were even helping back then, kind of helping with classes, and escrow officers were providing massive value on how to work with some of these banks and being able to negotiate a deal and make a win-win and doing all the title searches making
Such a different animal.
It was so much different, but good experience.
Yeah, no, especially for, anytime there's those shifts in the market or anything like that, that experience definitely kind of shows through.
Yeah.
In that sense. So, you get in at an interesting time into the business. With anything that we do, there's always, learning curves and mistakes and things like that. So let's talk about a little bit about that. So what mistakes have you made and would like others to maybe avoid, or advice that you would give other agents to avoid?
So I would say one of the big things is that I was massively overcoached. And I say overcoached because I dove into probably 6, 7 different coaching opportunities. Everybody's coming out with, check out this Facebook marketing site, check out these Google pay-per-clicks. What about Zillow? What about Yelp? What about open houses, right? What about all these different farming techniques? Or what about your database? Or what about, store knocking or anything, right? It's just taking off with 100 different ways to make money in real estate, whole spectrum of it. But you can't do it all, but you think you can. Yeah. Right? You're sitting there going, oh my gosh, if I could leverage 5 or 6 of these pillars, I will be a massive producer with a massive business. That is a massive disproportionate perspective. Like that's the wrong perspective. You're missing the ability and the power and focus.
For sure.
And so what I did is just kind of chasing some of that. I jumped on the expired bandwagon for a while. I called hundreds expired leads a week. And as you can just check on NAR website, that conversion rate, if you're a rock star at it, is literally like 3 to 5%. So you're going to process 100 cold leads consistently over time to maybe get 3 to 5 sales.
Yeah, the ROI doesn't.
Oh my goodness, the time that you spend on that. So then you're going, okay, so where's my time better utilized? And this is where it took me a while to grow into. And the time better utilized, first and foremost, is with people that you know, like, and trust. That referral business is massively huge. And I think people underestimate that. I did for the longest time because we want to be so creative, right? We want to jump in and go, you know what, check out what I can do, check out this process, look at what I thought. Yeah. And you don't have to do that. And just the aspect of believing that there's the process is already there, and to just kind of replicate what's already been done, and to not get so distracted and to not try and do it all. People just feel obligated, right? Like, I better go to this class. I better go check out social. Well, do you like social? Are you going to do social? I know social is powerful, but are you really going to do it? No, you hate it? Then don't go to the social class. Exactly. Like, oh, you want to check out a new level of marketing? Yeah, video, for example, might take off, right? Or is taking off. You want to learn about video, but you hate being in a camera in front of video? There's other ways to build business. Go research what works for you. You can't do it all. That's a massive mistake I made. Just jumping onto every little, kind of value add that I think I could grab from, and trying to go a mile wide and an inch deep. Instead of just going, you know what, I really like these 2 or 3 strategies, and I'm going to dive in and learn all I can about them. So that was a huge miss for me, that I think that other agents, if they could learn from that, to just sit down with, again, for example, prime example is a title rep, right? Like, sit down with title reps and lenders. Like, these people meet with agents all day long and see what their businesses are looking like. So being able to sit down with the title rep and go, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. What have you seen other agents do in this area? How have you seen them succeed in this area? They have the experience. They've seen it. For example, I've talked with you multiple times. You've seen, like, this agent's winning here, this agent's done this, but here's what they found out where it did work. So hope that helps.
Yeah, no, I love that you bring that up, because I think in this business, in multiple industries, that's probably true, but we are dangled so many different shiny objects, right? Marketing, platforms, technology, all this stuff. You got to learn this. This is the new thing. But the point of, if you're not going to actually do it, or you don't like it, or, it's just like when agents tell me, what CRM should I use? The one you're going to use. Yeah. That's the one
that works.
Yeah. You don't need the one that's most complicated, the most expensive, it needs to be user friendly. You need to be able to navigate it. If an agent starts telling me, oh, I hate that I can't do this, or, it's tough to navigate or whatever, I'm like, that's not the one for you. So it's important, I think, for people to pick a couple different avenues of marketing techniques, or just, channels of business coming in, whether it is your past clients and sphere. We know that 94% of all real estate business is repeat referral business. So why don't we focus more on that and generating that, instead of, chasing all these other shiny objects. But I think that's a huge point to drive down is you don't have to have all these extra things that we're sold on. You really got to double down on the things that you're actually going to do, like
Good to do.
and use. Yeah.
And if you don't have a database, like say you're like me, you moved to the valley and you don't really know anybody,
Right.
what's the next best way to build a business to get in front of people? Face-to-face is the most powerful way ever.
Yeah.
So let's just take one strategy with that. Just go work in an open house, right? Join a brokerage who has some large market share and has multiple other listings. And many agents out there, they're never going to sit their open house. I've called many agents, been like, hey, can I sit your open? They're like, you really want to? Like, I'm never going to sit an open house. I'm like, I will. I'll go sit your open house, because somebody comes in and you have that 5, 3, 10 minutes of face-to-face. You're going to have way more value there than you ever will on the phone, through an email, through a DM message, through anything. That face-to-face is massive. If you don't want to do open houses, then join some groups and get in some networking events. But don't be one of those people to go to the networking event and hand out your card. Right. Be the person that goes to the networking event and just ask questions and collect cards, right? And then you can sit back in your office or your home later and go through those cards and be like, oh, I remember that person. I wonder how I could help them. Maybe I should just send them a note and say, thank you for telling me about your business. It was wonderful to hear about you. You know, if there's anything I can help with, let me know. And I just hope you have a blessed week. Like, how can you add value to them without expecting any value back? You know, and I think that's just, when we get into sales, we're so much of going, and how can I sell? How can it be all about me? And that's another misconception, because selling is so much about, I love what Dave Ramsey said. He's like, selling is serving. Like, how can I serve you? How can I add value to you? How can I help you? And if I can't help you, how can I find out that I can't help you and let you know what, I don't think I'm the best option. However, let me see if I can find you another resource. Exactly. You know, in this aspect of just getting up every day and going, man, I'm like just going out and helping somebody carry their groceries, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's kind of the perspective, but in a business sense. Yeah. Or in a physical sense if you're at the store. Yeah,
exactly. No, I think that's huge, because again, like, so much of the business is that face-to-face value. And, you know, if you're going to go and try to buy leads, or, you know, again, you're sold something that you're going to get this amount of leads or something a month, but taking the time, it's so hard to get in front of people and have that conversation, right? So if you're buying leads online or you're making calls and all that good stuff, it's so hard to convey that value and you know, your authenticity over the phone. Then when you're in person, I think people can read you a little bit better and be able to connect better. So I think open houses are a great way. And that's one of the best things, I think, with the market shift that we've seen over the last few months, is the opportunity to set more open houses, right? So homes are staying a little bit longer, but leverage it, take advantage of that time.
Yeah.
I love it. So you got into business, struggled a little bit, you know, you've learned some things. Are you happy with where you're currently at with your business? You know, as it's, you know, we're obviously feeling a shift in the market that's happened. So are you happy with where you are in your business currently?
I'm grateful for where I'm at. I guess right now, to be honest, I'm a bit humbled. You know, I think that right now, a lot of us are in a sense of a little humble pie of kind of going, man, like, what's happening? Because when you've built up a business and you've, you know, worked hard to kind of get this repeat and referral business, and you see this repeat and referral business year over year, and then all of a sudden you go through a shift where the calls, the touch bases, the value adds, the marketing, the videos, or whatever else you might be doing, all of a sudden isn't producing the same results. You're like, what's going on? Like, the successful perspective is going, what am I missing? What am I not doing? And one of the worst things that I think you can often do is go, it's the market. Market's just shifted. It's the market. I think that's a horrible excuse for the most part. As much as this has dropped in the last 6 months, like, there's definitely a market factor here, right? I mean, you can look at the graph. If you look at the Cromford Market Index from the Cromford Report, it's crazy because it's up here in March. And it goes like almost just like a suicide dive. And it goes below the most stable market we've had in the last 22 years, which was 2015 to 2019. And it just massively changes. So when you go from 48 homes on the market to just under 22,000 homes on the market in 6 months, there's a massive shift. And then you have, what, 48,000 realtors in the valley for 4,800 homes in January, right? But a lot of buyer. And then you got 21,000. And then the buyer demands down and everything shifts. Like, there's a shift going on. So yes, there's a market correction, but I'm learning that there's definitely ways to have more business, I think, in more pillars. I do like open houses. I think that's a great revenue. I have not done that enough in the last year or so. I think that's a pillar I could increase. I talked to some other agents, and of course, we're all kind of talking with each other. Hey, what are you seeing? What are you experiencing? I know you're doing a lot of that as well. It's just kind of being like, hey, what are you experiencing? What's working? What's not working? Right? The big question: what do you see that's working? How are people charging forward? Some agents are still paying a lot for lead gen, and some of that's working for them, and some of it's not. I've kind of went down that road, so that's not one of my run and go to. But I am happy and grateful where I'm at. Get back to your question. But I am looking to create more of a stronger foundation. I'm definitely seeing where there's some cracks, right? There's some cracks in the foundation, and I need to, kind of up my marketing in a bit, up my presentation, my pre-list presentation, do a bit more open houses. Another thing is even dive into a little bit more social, some more posting. So that's one area where I'm looking to learn and grow more currently and be able to provide additional value on those sites.
Yeah, and I think, and anytime there's a shift in the market, it just gives us a little bit more time and opportunity to be able to fill in those cracks, right? We can we have a little bit more time to then work in our business or on our business to kind of, make sure that we're still going upwards and not necessarily plateau or unfortunately going down and things like that. So
which does happen.
It does happen.
Quite often.
It does. Yes. There's that roller coaster effect. So, you mentioned more open houses and marketing. Are those like the pillars to grow your business where you're kind of at right now that you're going to focus on?
Yes, I would say that the pillars, because where I'm at right now is, just to give you background on my business, I got a pretty strong referral-based business. And so I've been blessed to be able to be in a position where out of 30 sales annually, let's say probably 22 to 25 are repeat and referral. So that's massive, right? Then you get like 5 that are, I met somebody, or maybe one off from an online lead, and then, a couple, maybe 1 or 2 sign calls or open house. Like those are where like the 5 to 7 other leads come from over the last 5 years of my career. Wow. So 20 plus is just repeat and referral business. So I'm very grateful for that. You continue to build those relationships and kind of add value to people and be top of mind for them, because you want to serve them well, right? They're in a need and you're the guy, you want to serve them well. But yeah, to be able to expand, I would like to leverage more in the aspect of like social media. You can't deny the attention's there.
Yep.
Right. Like, and I know social media is a love-hate for most, and it is for me as well. But you can't deny that the attention's there. So I would like to get better in that, more consistent in that area. That's one pillar I'd like to grow up, where I believe it just would continue to allow me to add value to people in those areas. And then also, I think open houses, different serving opportunities, just to get in front of people and get to know people, just kind of building community genuinely and on purpose, with things that you would like, not so much things that you feel obligated to do.
Right.
So that's one thing. Yes, open houses, online marketing, and just kind of serving, getting on the community more is more, which I would like to do. Yeah, no, for sure. I think we're going to dive in a little bit more on video and things like that you've kind of really cornered on that and doubled down on. But I think for you, when we talk social media, YouTube would be a huge thing for you to double down on. I mean, you're already creating this content. We're talking a little bit more about that, but based off the 13 years in real estate, right? You've been in this business. You've taught lectures, classes, you've mentored multiple agents. Where do you see most agents struggling? Kind of back to where we were talking about, where there's this spectrum, right? There's like here to here, which is 100 ways you can make money in real estate or an opportunity in real estate. And they dive in and they're like, oh my goodness, I can do this. And so they get massively distracted. But, from some of the people that I've talked to jump in this business, they're like, well, I just, thought it'd be a good opportunity. And they don't understand that they're stepping into an actual legit business that they need to be a professional at and learn to be educated at and how to add value at, rather than go, man, if I sell a home once or twice, one home every couple of months, that's an extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for me. You can't look at this like that. You have to look at this from the long term. This has got to be a long-term decision. And so what are you going to do long-term to build up a business? And first and foremost is belief. So here's what I mean by belief, is that I am the repeat referral-based business has been a huge blessing for me. And I know a lot of agents have that in a sense. A lot of people don't believe in that business model. A lot of agents that I spoke with, they're like, well, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to reach out to people. I don't know what to say. I haven't talked to that person in 2 or 3 years. Great. That's the perfect person to call and be like, hey,
great opportunity.
we haven't talked in a while. I had you on my mind. I wanted to check in on you, see how you and your family are doing, see how everything is going. And also, listen, I got some changes in my life too that's been going on. Recently took off with a new career in real estate. Excited to tell people about, and just, if I can ever be of any value, answer any questions on the ever-changing real estate market, would love to be a resource for you. If you got somebody great, no problem at all, right? We're not pressuring people or doing some like slick sales, right, aspect. Yeah. We're literally just saying, may I help you? And if I can, great. And if not, totally understandable. How's your family? How's your kids? How's your trips? How's your travels? Yeah. What's been going on in your life? I mean, those are massive conversations that people can have that nobody wants to have. Right. Like nobody wants to call up people that they already know or talk to people that they already know and say, how are you? How can I help you? And, one of the best ways to get into, if you're new in the business that I think is just to sit there and create a letter. Just create a letter that just says, checking in overall. Hey, looked up your address. We've been in communication. I'm sending this up to everybody that I know, right? Just to be full disclosure of what we're doing here. Yeah. I just want to reach out to you all. I hope you're doing great. Family, friends, everybody's doing well. I've had some crazy changes in my life. I'm taking off with a real estate career at 30, 40, 50, 60. Whenever you jump in the business, doesn't matter. And I'm studying the market. I'm working hard to learn the trends and transitions and all the changes that are going on, and would just love an opportunity to be a resource should something come. For sure. And then follow that up with just a phone call a week or two later. Just be like, hey, did you get my letter? By the way, maybe follow that up with like a small event. Hey, I'm hosting a little coffee shop event. Would love for you to come on by, just say hi, see you face to face, check in on you all. Grab a cup of coffee on me. I've done multiple of these coffee events, probably 5 or 6 of them. And out of inviting, 200 people to them, 200 or 300 people to them, they cost me no more than $500. Yeah. No more. Like, these aren't expensive things you're doing. Yeah. These are just ways that you're reaching out to get in touch, to get together with people, to just check in with people, to get to know people, to reconnect with people. Yeah, exactly. And so first off, I mean, that's a big one. Just belief that a referral-based business can be for you and can be sustainable, and that you can add value. That doesn't mean that you're always talking real estate, right? You don't go to your kid's soccer game, volleyball game, whatever, and you're sitting next to different parents, always work in the room at your kid's game. It's not necessarily the idea, but you're there to be able to be involved in those communities and ask about them. Like, I think that's the misconception that a lot of us today, and I wrestle with this very much as well, is sitting there next to somebody and go, man, how you been? How's your guys' summer? Did you guys take some travel, some trips? And, even if they never ask about you, just how you been? Yeah, great. It's wonderful to talk to you.
I think too, naturally over time, when you have these conversations and these events and things, real estate's going to come up in the conversation because they're going to know you're the real estate guy, right? Eventually. So eventually it's staying that consistency over time, communicating to them, and again, just providing that value first. You can't go into it expecting, all right, who out of these 5 people, who's going to give me the sell, right? Right. How can I serve them? Right. What can I provide value? And over time, it's just going to come back.
But they got to believe it. Yeah, you have to believe that that is truly how it works. That again, this is a long-term play, and it will reward you in more ways than you can imagine when you live from that authentic foundation. Yes. And so I think, most agents, if you just commit to go pro, commit to be a professional, commit to meet with a marketing rep, of a title rep company, or find a great lender, find a mentor, and be able to go, how do I structure this? Like, how do I set this off from the get-go? How do I build the foundation that I can then build from there instead of winging it? And there's multiple agents that do pretty good business that just wing it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden something like this happens and I'm like, whoa, what happened?
Huge setback.
Huge. And I mean, you mentioned CRM earlier, a contact relation management system where you just keep people organized, where you keep your notes. You called Justin the other day and he told you that he got a new puppy. So you call Justin next week. Hey man, how's the puppy training going? How's your dog doing? Like, you have these little connections, you just keep notes on it. I've talked to a couple different agents that I work next to him, shared an office with one of them for a while. And he's like, does pretty decent business. But I'm like, man, what CRM do you use? He goes, I don't really use a CRM. Yeah. I just I got my friends that I hang out with and my kids' sports and things like that. And I just have conversations with people. I was like, so you have no notes on anybody? He's like, not really. I mean, in my phone every now and then I'll put a note next to their name or something. Like, that's your business? Yeah. Like, that's your business model that you're growing and providing for oh my goodness, that you're providing for your family from? Like, that's it? Yeah. Yeah. You got to commit to a structure. You got to commit to be a professional. You got to believe it's possible, and you got to play the long-term game, and you got to just right out of the gates be humble enough to get some help. Yeah. I think that's people jump in and they're like, yeah, I can do this. And it's like, nah, most likely you can, yes.
Yeah.
With the right perspective.
Exactly. And belief, right?
And belief.
In there. I want to jump back to the very beginning of this. You mentioned distraction. How do you handle distractions? Right? Because especially in this business, but just day-to-day life in general, right? We're throwing so many different elements of that. How do you deal with that?
Good question. So my wife would say that I'm still wrestling with that probably. I have my distraction.
Work in progress.
So if you ask my wife, we're going on 10 years of marriage next month. And if you asked her, like, what is your biggest issue with Kevin? She would say time management. Right.
Interesting.
So, but I don't know if that deals so much with distraction. It's just, I like to get stuff done, clear to the last minute, and it drives her crazy.
Yeah.
But being able to be focused is one of the best books I read on this topic is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. It is a massive good read. And I would recommend even reading it a few times over. So I read it and then I bought it on Audible and I listened to it. And one of the questions that he has in that book of what you should be doing is that, is this a hell yeah? And if this is not a hell yeah, then it's a hell no, and just kind of having that level of perspective in everything you're doing. So you saw on social media that somebody's kid just won a soccer championship. Should you reach out to them and send them a card? Well, hell yeah, that's an awesome idea, right? Somebody that you kind of know, kind of don't know. You see that their grandmother passed maybe online. Should you reach out to them? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Like, unless you got that relationship that they would feel some deep authenticity from you, then great, reach out. But if it's going to be weird,
right?
It might be best.
Not seem authentic.
Yeah, it's not authentic. Then it might be a hell no. Even though you're like, well, somebody passed. Don't you want to say something? Not always.
Right.
How can you be authentically you? And so it's keeping on task is it creating a system. So I'm a huge fan, by the way. Another massive real estate book that I think is real estate gold is Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall. The Ninja Selling Strategy has radically changed everything for me. Two books, 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer and Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall. Both of these are building up a strong referral-based business. But on the Ninja Selling system, they have a planner also that I follow. And so the planner is track what you want to change, right? Like, this is it. If you want to work on something in your life, if you want to be more on social, track how many posts you do a week. If you want to be more on video, track how many videos you do a week or a month. If you want to be more on open houses, track how many you do and mark them off and set a goal and do it. So on the Ninja Planner, I track, right? I had this many contacts. I sent out this real estate review. I did these notes. So my goal every day is to do every week, let's go back, is to do 50, 10, 2, 2, 5. Okay. 50 contacts, whether face-to-face or voice, some type of a communication about real estate. 10 personal notes a week, 2 real estate reviews a week for somebody, just updating them on their home values. Doesn't take long, right? 2 purposeful meetings with either my hot list or my warm list or people that have been being intentional about it. I'm not just going to go meet my best friend and grab a beer and call it a meeting. Right. And then 5 social posts a week. So 50, 10, 2, 2, 5. Like, that's my strategy. That's what I'm tracking. That's what I'm working on. And then adding on to that would be like 1 or 2 open houses a month. That would be like something else to add on. So if you didn't want to commit to that type of busyness, maybe you got a job that you're also working on the side, then maybe do something like, instead of 50 contacts, maybe do 10. That's 2 contacts a day, 1 real estate review a week, right? 3 posts a week, and try and meet with 1 person. Just create something that you're consistently committing to. And I mean consistently. If I could just put a massive bold underlined expansion on that word. If you can't do it consistently, don't commit to it now. You're not going to have this like massive energy out of the gate. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to build up to 10 listings in the next 90 days, and this is how it's going to work. Great. How are you going to sustain that 10 listings over the next 5 years? What are you going to do consistently? And that's just where I think the game is also underestimated in the world of real estate sales, is because everybody gets this kind of rush of grind. Let's build it up. And then we all have to have some type of release.
Right, exactly.
Right. So you get to this level. You get to even where you build up, and then all of a sudden you get 4 or 5 escrows underneath your belt. Then you're like, I just want to leave for 2 weeks. Like that.
Recharge,
that's not sustainable. So what can you do little by little, consistently? Little results consistently over time. In the next 1, 3, 6 months will blow your mind if you're just consistent.
For sure.
I would probably even say, let's just talk about database wise, people probably don't really even know much more than 100 to 200 people. So if they really want to be referral based, how long does it take to follow up with 100 to 200 people? You know, a couple notes here, a couple calls there, a couple posts, a couple check-ins here. You can follow 100 people every 2 months.
Right, exactly.
You know, every 3 months if you want to really extend it out. Now you're following up with your whole entire database of people you know 3 or 4 times a year. How are they not going to think about you when it comes to any type of real estate question or somebody at their work or family member or neighbor or whatever, right? They're going to be, oh my gosh, I got a really good friend in real estate. Let me connect you. You should talk to them. Yeah. And that's where, again, we're back to the belief. They don't believe that works. Exactly. They don't believe that it's that easy just by being you.
And it's those taking those, you know, breaking down these big numbers that we, or goals that we have, and making them to simple, you know, achievements every week. Like you said, 50 contacts a week, and you have this whole design that you've created for that. But the biggest thing I think is just staying consistent with it over time, right? Those little stepping stones will lead you to the big pond of, you know, for your business in that sense. So
it will. It'll blow your mind when it happens.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. You're like, oh my gosh, it was this easy, you know, quote unquote, for them to do that.
In 6 years, and then all of a sudden, the 7th year, you double your business. You're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And it's just all of a sudden that fruit starts to kind of take root and produce and harvest. And
like you said, it's not necessarily, it's not a get rich quick type of situation. It has to be a long-term goal.
It has
to be a long-term goal. So those small stepping stones will get you there.
And you have to, yes, and you have to be okay with the money you make. Like, how many people do you know that all of a sudden they get 20, 30 grand in their bank account and they're like, I'm good for a while.
Yeah.
I can slow down. I can take it easy. We're good.
Yeah. And you have that ebb and flow. So
oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden you don't get a contract for a month or two. And then all of a sudden you realize your living expenses are $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And you're going, I'm not good.
I'm not good.
You know, so then you got to be comfortable going, is $50,000 in the bank account enough? Is that enough savings? Is that a good amount? And if that's an amount that makes you go, wow, I can just, let's say Bora Bora, let's go rent a private jet. Let's go do it. Like, if you think that way, if you think that way with that kind of money, you got to correct that. Like, you got to study some psychology on money. You got to learn the value of money, because like a couple of guys that I follow, they say, save up $100,000 and don't touch it. Can you do that? Can you save up 100 grand and keep it? And it's a blessing, because through this market, you know, the person that's in that position is okay, because as this correction has happened, things have slowed down. They don't have the same level of income monthly, but they got that savings. They have the cushion that they can work out of in the meantime to cover it. So
I love it. It's good stuff. So we're going to shift a little, and I'm super excited to talk to you about video, just because, I mean, ever since I've met you, you've been creating video. I remember even the days back when you included Diana and I in your video blasts, and we always enjoyed getting those. So so you've doubled down on video and leveraging it to bring your clients and consumers in general an enormous amount of value. When did you decide to go all in on video?
I would say probably about a little year and a half ago or so, and which would have been like 11 and a half years into my career, right? Like a little bit delayed on that aspect. But I was challenged by my lender in that she was doing video and just kept saying, hey, just a touch, just a touch. So she challenged me. She goes, just do one a month. So I started one a month. I'm like, that's not enough. She goes, do one every 2 weeks. I was like, okay, I'll do one every 2 weeks. And I was like, screw this, I'm doing one a week. Like, this is easy enough. I can do one a week. And so I just dove in every Friday, you know, to at least commit to one video a week to just blast out there. And so it's been good. I've enjoyed it. It's been a fun little kind of creative aspect that I didn't think I would enjoy, that I do enjoy. Yeah.
So was it natural for you to dive into it? Like, once you turn on the camera, because I talk with agents all the time, and there's always objections, right? We don't like the way we sound, look. I don't know what to communicate. I don't know how to, what am I gonna, what's my message to them? Was it natural for you at first, or did you have a period of time of like struggling with it a little bit?
I struggled with it a little bit, but not too much in the beginning, because I just created a level of, I knew that the 8 out of 10 rule, right? I knew that if it's like 80%, send it out. Because you're going to analyze it. You're going to analyze it to death, and then it's just going to distract you and upset you and whatever else. Like, you nothing's perfect. As creative and awesome as we want to be and look in this industry, it's just not doable. So in the beginning, it was a little bit of that shift, and then I was just like, send. Like I just started sending them, send, blast out there, and getting some, some feedback. Hey, great job. Hey, appreciate the information. Hey, good video. Like that. And hey, love your energy. And I was like, okay, so this is nice. Kind of getting a little bit of feedback of some people at least watching the whole thing.
They enjoy it. Yeah.
So instead of watching 10 seconds and going next.
Exactly.
So, and then it became fairly easy. I mean, like I say, not something I look forward to every week, but I gotta go get my video done. So, yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, I love it. You stayed with the weekly?
The weekly.
Yeah, so that's the frequency.
Yeah.
So do you record on Friday and actually send it out the same day?
Most of the time.
Most times.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sometimes I'll do it earlier. It'd be more structured to do it earlier.
Yeah.
That'd be better planning.
Yeah. The I think going back to, those objections or distractions, right? It's just scheduling that time, but it's also like what you said, that 8 out of 10 rule, right? The 80-10, right? So it's even like when I do my weekly trainings with ROC University and back when I first got into real estate, I was a sales manager for a team, and the team leader was all about video. We got to get the issues with video. And I had no experience with video. I wasn't comfortable. Naturally, I'm an introvert. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to my work, I'm an extrovert, my personal life, introvert. So it was something that I had to, overcome in that sense. And that's something that I can relate to with a lot of agents who have objections with this. But it's gotten to a point where, like you're saying, you got to just do it and get it out.
Send it out.
If it's 80% there, you got to get it out.
Even don't watch it if you
don't watch. That's me with my report. Do not watch it.
If you feel it was relatively decent, just go send.
Send. Yeah.
Like, unless you really fumbled the words, then maybe. But if you feel like, don't go back and go, you know what? Let me just double check and watch it. No, just send it.
Yeah, because you're gonna break down. I mean, I had to stop doing that. All I do, I go in, I edit, I add an intro to it, and then I just never watch it again.
Yeah.
And similar to you, like the feedback though is like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. The content's great. All that stuff. So that kind of, I guess, builds that confidence in you to know that whatever you're producing, you are providing that value.
You're helping
to who's watching.
You're helping.
Yeah. So it kind of motivates you to keep doing that. So you create it weekly. Do you have a video platform that you prefer? I mean, I think I know the answer, but
I do BombBomb.
BombBomb. Yep.
So, but one thing that a good friend of mine and another agent, Lauren, taught me is upload it to YouTube. You use the YouTube link up to BombBomb, right? And then use the YouTube link over to Facebook, and then kind of tie that all together. But I'm not purposely marketing on YouTube, which kind of we mentioned that's one area could definitely grow in.
For sure.
So kind of taking off with being more intentional with some of these big video platforms is one of my focuses of growing, but BombBomb's my weekly kind of tie-in to use that. BombBomb you can record right on the site, but I think it's better to have kind of the YouTube foundational video that then you upload. It can, upload different places. And then other than that, just uploading to social. So then I'll go to Facebook, and then I'll go to Instagram, and then TikTok, and then LinkedIn. And that's it. I don't do Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's.
Yeah, there's no video on Twitter.
Yeah, plus you're limited on that. So do you like if you still upload it through YouTube, right? Using that YouTube link, do you still, because BombBomb has like a whole back end of analytics, right? So you can see how many opens you're getting, views, and all that stuff. Is that something that you enjoy looking at to see, or you quickly refresh, or?
You're calling me out. I don't even look at it.
I don't
even track. And it's interesting because I got about 300 people in my database. And so I'll send that out to all of them, and even some that I don't even have in my database anymore, but I keep their emails and BombBomb, and I'll get some feedback. Like people I haven't talked to for a while, and all of a sudden I'll run into them, we'll talk, I'm like, oh, I watch your videos. But they never like them. They never comment on them. So if you're looking for that value, very few people will ever do that. Like you might post a video and you might get 12 or 15 likes, but 200 people might have watched it.
Right.
But they're just not going to acknowledge it. Yeah. And so I haven't studied a lot of the stats. I'm more of a do it and send it out, and then just keep doing it and sending it out. So I don't study the stats. I don't look. I couldn't even. That's probably poor on my part. But
I would probably agree with that too, because I think social media in general has really led us down a path of oh, I only got 2 likes on this or 3 likes. And, you know, someone that I have followed in the past is Gary Vee, and he's just like, don't worry about the likes, right? Yeah. Don't worry about the likes. Don't worry about the comments. Just continue producing the content. If it's good content, it's going to come back to you for sure. So, you know, with that aspect of it, I think that that's important to just produce it, get it out there. You know, you do get some feedback, and usually it's positive. From like you said, you have people reach out, this is great, thank you for this, or like the trainings I do and things like that. So as long as people are enjoying it in that sense, don't necessarily worry about, oh, it didn't get 100 likes or, you know, all that kind of details down.
I put no value on that.
Yeah,
like the likes don't. And I learned from Gary Vee too, you know, is that he goes, when people are ruthless on social media, all right, or just unkind with their comments, you know, he goes, there's a level of empathy there for them. Like, what is going so wrong in their life that they gotta take the time to try and tear others down. Like, that sucks for them. I hope their life gets better. You know, I hope that things get brighter for them. And when he shared that one day, I was like, that perspective is beautiful and amazing, and it's humane and it's kind. And so when people sit there, and I've got some comments randomly on TikTok, and I chuckle. I'm like, oh man, that's too bad for that person. I hope they're having a better day. It's kind of funny that they want to take me down with them, because that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You know, and so that's why, again, I don't think you could put value in the likes. I don't think you can put value in the stats too much, unless the stats are like, hey, are they reaching this, or are they receiving this?
Right.
Those are kind of the only stats I think that matter, because when you're talking about
delivery,
when you're looking at, you know, confirmation or affirmation from other people, now you're back to the wrong value. Now you're not trying to help them, you're trying to help yourself. You know, you're trying to look and pump yourself up of how awesome am I. And when you start getting, again, now you're starting to get back in a level of business of going, here's how I can amaze your life, but you really can't add any value to me. And that's not true, because if more people would just dive in on video or social and put good stuff out there and helpful things that they might know about, whatever their traits or gifts are, they could massively help a lot of people. But sometimes we just care too much, right? We just care too much about what other people think. And
it takes away from us and the value that we're providing.
And the likes. Oh, it's the wrong message.
For sure. No, I love that. So we talked about this before jumping on to record the podcast. NAR released, and I've said this multiple times now, if there's people watching and listening. So NAR released a stat that 51% of home buyers choose YouTube as their #1 research platform when purchasing a home, which to me is huge. 51% of the home buyer pool using YouTube as their #1 research platform.
And I didn't know that.
Which is why I want you to double down on YouTube, because I think I think video in general can substantially, if you're going to do it, if you enjoy it, if you can be authentic, it can.
If you can
massively
be
consistent, I think it can massively change your business. And I always look, similar to Gary Vee, what we were just talking about, is I always look where consumer attention is, right? Social media is there, video is there, YouTube. So short form content is so huge nowadays. I mean, we're all consumers, we're all scrolling, we're all watching videos, we're on all these platforms. But what would be your advice to agents who are nervous to create video content or don't know where to start?
Well, where to start is one of my favorite things to do, which I'm working on becoming better at, is birthday videos. So let's just say that today's your birthday, okay? This would be one way to do it. They can even do this to their kids. As a matter of fact, let me do that. Let me just do it with my kids. Yeah, so you literally just, if you want to get better on video, this is one way to just kind of take off with it. But just to sit there, let me start getting on the video. There, yeah. So I can just be like, hey, sunshine, just want to send you a quick video just to say, I hope you're having an amazing day. I love you very much. I hope school was awesome, and I look forward to hanging out with you all later and just kind of having some fun. Love you lots. Bye-bye. Right? And then I'll text this to my wife. My wife will show my daughter, and there's a practice video, right? Like, just send it out. Another thing that I do is I'll take this and I'll just birthday videos, right? So I'll just, I haven't done my birthday video yet, but I don't know whose birthday it is, but I'll look up on my list soon, but I'll just do a neutral one, right? So I'm just like, hey, Sean, happy birthday, man. Just want to say that I hope your day's blessed. I hope you're loved and cherished and knowing how important you are. And I just want to say, man, happy birthday to you. Today, I celebrate you. I can't take off work, even though I probably should have, just kind of really celebrate you. But you know what? Happy birthday, brother. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Love it.
You know, something just simple, short, authentic. Of like, I thought,
Yeah.
instead of posting happy birthday, I'm sorry, but that's so dumb, so lame and overused. If you're just typing like, people are like, oh, thanks. Be different. Go, if you don't know their phone number, go to Messenger on their social media, on Facebook or something, and record a video from Messenger.
Love that.
Right? And then just show your face and say happy birthday to you. Or, you know, happy anniversary if your anniversary is coming up. Or let's just say that you saw on social media that their kid won their soccer championship or something. You can send a video through Messenger and just say, hey, I saw online that your kid won their soccer champion. That's awesome. Tell them congratulations. And, you know, that was really neat, you know, or something like that. Like video just personally would be a great way to start. And then you kind of get built up, and then you can, with people that you know that like,
expand it from there.
And expand it from there, and then you can jump on and do a quick little market update or share a little good book, you know, that you read that you just want to tell your social crew about. Or one of my friends does not like video, but she does a lot of open houses. So she'll have me or somebody else stop by her open house and just video her walking through the open house and showing the house. So she's got video, she's got her in it, no voice from her, but she's just going, you know, come see the open. And then she'll put music to the background. You know, it's a video, right? People get to see her smiling, see her working, see her dressed nice, see her being authentic and wanting to show the features of the home. And sometimes she'll talk about some of the features of the home, but most of the time it's just come walk through, look at this video. And that's a great way to start video. You don't even have to talk to begin with.
Right.
You know, just get out there and get something going. And then you kind of start to find your niche of what you like to talk about. Like I read a lot of motivational, inspirational books. Like I always want to be learning how to grow. But there's a difference with that, right? Like you can read them, but then are you going to apply them? Right. Are you going to do them? And get back to this consistency game. Are you going to learn take what you read and then do it? So with what I'll learn, I'll sit there and try and be like, oh my goodness, this is how this book helped me. And this is what we're doing about it. Or this is what I've done, right? Like it starts with food. Great book. Talks about the Whole30 deal. So my wife and I have done like 5 different Whole30, 30 days of really strict eating, and it's massively helped our health. So I'll share that. I'll be like, this is a gold mine book, right? A couple of books on marriage, done that. That's really implemented and changed some communication in our marriage. So I'll share that, and just kind of, those are great things to share, right? Some people are awesome cooks. Some people are super creative with their staging and everything else. Like some people are just great with pets. Hey, if you're having trouble with your dog, here's one way that I got my dog to stop barking when people came in front of it.
Right.
Just share some cool little fun nuggets. You'll attract the right people that are like you. And so there's multiple ways to start video. Yes, I think video, again, what's the most powerful way to communicate with anybody? Face to face. Face to face. If you're not face to face, video's the next best thing. Yeah. Instead of calling your family weekly to check into your mom who's across the country, why don't you Zoom? Right. Why don't you FaceTime? Yeah. Why don't you get all the family together and have Messenger, whatever it is, FaceTime cocktail every, once a month on the 3rd Saturday of every month, where all the siblings and spouses and everybody and grandkids and kids and grandma and grandpa can get on Zoom and have a conversation. Like there's a great way to do video again. Yeah. And who cares what you look like and all this other stuff? Like just be loving and communicating and happy to see people. Yeah, no, for sure. And I love too that, you just pulled your phone out and did that because it's such a, right, it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need crazy equipment. You don't need all this stuff. Just start with something simple. A few seconds long. Yeah. You can easily send it someone or text or use Messenger or anything like that. But it kind of opens up that doorway for you to just start. And then you realize, right, you can believe in it. Yep. And can realize that it's not that complicated. Yep. But it's such a great way to be able to communicate with people. See, so going back to the beginning, we're talking about jumping into sales. There's a sales aspect that's so much about, well, sell. Yeah. How do I attract them? How do I show them value? How do I do everything else? And we overlook, or we do not believe, again, right, in the aspect of just authentic human to human kindness and connection. Yeah. In birthday videos and celebrating other people and their kids and their wins and genuinely caring. Like you took the time to care, you took time to send a video, and you're just like, man, I think about you guys. Hope you have a blessed day. That's awesome, right? That's powerful. Yeah. And so that's really all we're doing every day when we wake up, right? Like we're waking up, and then somebody, if you can add up, some information on the market and value in some areas, great. Like I'm very low pressure, pretty consistent business, but I'm very low pressure until somebody tells me, I want to sell, I want that house, I want to buy. Right. Then I got a very, strategic and consistent and producing game plan. But I mean, I'm like, somebody comes in an open house, I'll just be like, hey, how you guys? Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by. Did you guys find me online or did you guys find me by my signs?
Yeah.
And then just kind of get a little gauge on where they're at, because online they're looking more aggressively, right? By their signs, they're casually just looking around and off to the neighbor.
Yeah.
So you can kind of get in heat on how aggressive they might be looking. Then I'm like, would you like me to give you the tour, or do you want me to just kind of tell you the hallmark features and let you go? And then just kind of give them that option. Most of them are like, yeah, just the hallmark features. I'm like, great, hey, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, super awesome pool in the backyard with a hot tub connection, master bedrooms upstairs on this end, split bedrooms on this end. Go enjoy the tour. I'll be in the kitchen. If you have any questions, just let me know. Yeah. Then after their tour, I'm just like, what'd you like? What'd you not like? What'd you think? And then as they're walking out, I'm like, do you guys have a good agent helping you, or where are you guys at in that process? In other words, can I help you or can I not? They're like, no, yeah, my sister's an agent. She's already been working with us. She just told us to stop by us. Totally understandable. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Yeah.
I
think people can connect with that and relate, because again, it comes down to that authenticity, and you're not that high level pressure sales, and nobody likes that at all. I mean, I was in a furniture store a couple weekends ago. Immediately, it's like, what are you looking for? Like, what do you like? Sell, budget. And it's like, there's such another way to go about that in a sales perspective.
Yeah.
That shows that value and authenticity, and just generally, wanting to help someone.
Yep.
So I think that strategy in open houses, and just general, when you're helping people in this business, going that route is so much more valuable than high sales.
Yeah.
Right. Car sales. Right. I mean, that's another thing that's.
Well, it's like funny you bring that up. 2 brand new vehicles that I bought. I walked out there on the lot, and first one was my truck that I bought back in 2006. And the guy walks out, he goes, hey, what are you up to today? And I said, you know what, man, I'm not even in the market. I just saw this truck, thought it looked good. I'm just stopped by and look at it. I said, I'm very happy with where I'm at, everything going on. So I don't want to waste your time. There's probably hotter prospects out there. Like, that's almost verbatim what I said. Yeah. He goes, no problem. We're pretty slow today. I'm just kind of casual on checking on vehicles too. I'm around if you have a couple of questions. I'll just be kind of around these vehicles here. I said, no problem. Open the door, right? Look in the truck, and then you're like, couple of questions come up. You're like, hey, I got a question on the truck. Yeah. Where at the end of the day, I drive out with the truck. Yeah. And same thing another time, I bought a little Cadillac XT5, or I think it was a 5, and because I'm getting 4, 5, and 6 now, but a little Cadillac. And same thing, he showed up. I'm like, my son and I just have been driving around. I'm like, let's go drive to the Cadillac dealer. And he goes, all right, kid always look at cars. And And a guy comes out, he goes, hey, what up to today? I said, man, I'm just watching my son. We're just cruising through town. I said, I'm not a hot prospect, man, not here to your time. For the other day, we're talking about trading mine in and driving off at that one, right? He's just like, hey, no problem. You guys take your time. I'll just kind of be wandering around. Yep. Like the fact that they gave me space to process and
so much power
and allowed the questions to come up and let me know they were there if I had them, rather than him coming up and going, man, let me tell you about this car. Here's the engine, here's the space, here's the motor, here's the luxury, here's the leather, here's the whatever features it has. I'd have been like, again, I'm not looking, thanks, we got to go now.
Yeah.
And that's what we do in real estate all day long. Yeah. Somebody comes in the house, they're like, how long have you been looking? What, have you offered on any houses? What's kind of your aggression? What's your timeline? What's the overall goal here? And they're like,
overstimulation.
Yeah, we just happened to have breakfast and we just saw the sign and wanted to stop by and see the area. We're not even living here. We live in Chicago or somewhere. Yeah. And we don't even give people a chance to breathe in front of us. Yeah. And I've been guilty. I mean, I've been that guy. I followed people through the open house just I chased them right out of the open house, And so you learn the hard way of going, don't do that. Yeah. And so that's just where, let's go back to belief again, right? Where people just need to believe that in their industry, that just being them, authentic, right? Gary Vee again, authentically them, communicating how you authentically communicate, how you talk to your kids or your spouse or your cousins or your best friend, is the same way you can communicate with any and everybody else. You don't have to have the slick scripts, the slick sales lines, the slick anything else. Can I help you? Here's what I do. Can I not? That's okay. Anything changes, I would love the opportunity.
Yeah. And it, as we continue to talk about this, it's popped in my head. It's almost like you have to connect with the person, not the sell.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge takeaway from today. I mean, there's so much, I think authenticity really has to be in this title somehow, but there's so much gold in here. But I think that you really do have to connect with people. It's a people business. Mm-hmm. Don't connect with the sell right away.
Yeah.
With the person. right? Because just like a car dealership or you're an open house or just any sales in general, build that relationship first and connection. And then when it does pop up, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy was awesome. He was low pressure. He provided value. I'm gonna give him a call. And more times than not, it will happen.
One of my best clients, and it just multiple repeat sales. I think they bought 5 homes from me. The first time that she called me off a sign, and she goes, hey, we want to look at this house. And then she goes, we have a horrible experience with another realtor, and so we're going to explore another realtor. We don't know if we're going to like you either, but if you show us this house, we like it. Like, okay, thanks for setting the standard.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You know, so I show up and just kind of casually let them walk through the house. Hey, you know what you like? Go ahead and walk through. I walked around, turn on lights, open blinds. And you have any questions? Okay, great. You got some others you want to see? We'll kind of make our list. We'll go through, look at multiple homes. By like the 5th home we looked at, and the first day we got together, she goes, why haven't you asked us to buy any of them? I was like, did you like any of them? She goes, no. Well, I guess I kind of felt that you didn't really like what you've seen. And if you did like what you saw, you would let me know you like what you saw, and then you might want to buy it. And so she goes, well, the other agent that we had asked us after every house, you want to buy it? 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 She goes, and I just kind of thought that was the process that you guys had to say, no.
Yeah.
Like,
not how I work.
Right, you can kind of read people as they go through the house. Like, wow, look at this yard, look at this view, look at the size of these kids' rooms or this master, look at the bathroom and the kitchen.
You know what they call them.
You can see some things, right?
Yeah.
And so as you're just kind of showing and they kind of buzz through, like, that's all right. I'm like, okay, not really, they're not interested. Next, next, and not like, oh, well, you don't want to buy it? No, you don't want to buy this? Are you sure? You don't want to buy it? And
it's too much.
That's bad coaching. That was me in the beginning. I was badly coached multiple times and overcoached, as I mentioned. And so you miss the level of just being your human self, And if you don't know what to say, then don't say anything. What if I don't know the answer? Who cares? You can say, you know what? I'll find that out for you. And you can call any other agent in your office, your broker, your title marketing rep, whoever you want. Somebody's got the answer of how to help that person. So, yeah. Don't make it too difficult,
Yeah, exactly. Don't overcomplicate it.
You're incredibly valuable just being you. You don't have to make it so structured and scripted with how you communicate.
Yeah. We're all consumers. We can see right through that now, right? I mean, those marketing tactics and strategies and just that, as in our community, we call it commission breath. But,
yeah,
I think people can definitely see through that. So authenticity is what we're talking about today. Awesome, Kevin. I appreciate you for being on here. We got to have you on again because I could talk to you literally for hours and hours on it. It's such a joy. And I know that everyone that's watching or listening is going to get a lot of value out of this and hopefully inspire them to be more authentic in their business and maybe push them to jump into video a little bit more. Try it. You might like it, might help your business. If you hate it, find something that works for you that you can do consistently over time to grow your business. So,
even steal some of my ideas.
Yeah.
Instagram @StarkSellsAZ or TikTok @StarkSells.
You took it right out of me. Where can they find you?
Yeah,
where can they
that's
find
where they can find me.
All right.
So steal some of my stuff, do market updates, book reports, just little tips and tricks, and share it, whatever works for you being you.
Yes, I love it. So go follow him on all his platforms, Stark Sells. And of course, you can always see previous episodes of this podcast, rockuniversity.com/podcast. YouTube, you can find this, and of course, on all major streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. So until next time, guys, we will see you in escrow.